record is shown then. Red lights go on. The race about to get underway, and it does. It's not a great start from Tom Gadd. Dan Gore gets away in the lead of the race. It looks like Craig Pollard is going to go around the outside of Gadd as well. Maybe not quite going to make it as they head through Paddock Hill Bend for the first time. In fact, he has done it. Matthew Higginson has made a good start as well. He's alongside Murphy Aldridge, and the three abreast as they go into the hairpin at Druids for the first time. It's Pollard squeezing through on the inside to take second place. Gadd's going to have the inside line for Graham Hill Bend, though. Can he capitalise on it? Certainly Pollard's car moving around a little bit, and as they head down the Cooper Straight towards Surtees, it's Gadd that's got his nose back in front. But as they do this, it's allowing the race leader Dan Gore to pull out quite a bit of a gap over the rest of them. The next five squabbling over second position as they come towards the end of the first lap, Marcus.
Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic, isn't it? A great start from Dan Gore, who made a bit of a mistake yesterday with setup. And he reckoned that by leaving it as it was yesterday morning for quali, when he was convincingly on pole, he'd be in good shape today. It looks like he will be. 47.93 is the start lap from a standing start. So that's really looking good, isn't it? In second place is Gadd. Third place is Pollard. Fourth and fifth, Higginson coming up alongside Aldridge, and Westworth going by, or trying to go past on the left into Surtees, can't make it. Higginson hangs on the outside of Surtees, but Aldridge sniffs up the inside into clearways, and these very, very closely matched cars, powered by these 1000cc motorcycle engines, hurtle back towards us for the second time, Ian.
They do indeed. Rob Wellham was 13th at the end of the first lap. I think he's about to make up another place as well. I think has gone up to 10th now. No, it's showing 12th across the timing line. I thought he just got past Chaz Hyten there. Obviously not quite, just as before they got to the line. And there's Aldridge trying to get back ahead of Higginson there. Gadd's done the fastest lap on the first flying lap of 45.52. He took 4/10 or so out of the race leader Dan Gore. And just going through the back of shot there, you could see Ben Huntley has just made a bit of an escape now from Katie Cole. They had a good battle in yesterday's race and looked like they were going to continue that today. But for the moment, there's a few car lengths between them.
Yeah, for this breakaway group then of effectively 3 and 3. The green car we're looking at on the screen is Higginson, who is in fourth place. But the time's coming down now, 45. Two of them on 45.51 now, Pollard and Higginson. 45.52 to Gadd, 45.68 to Gore. But I reckon Gore is he's been reeled in by Gadd, hasn't he? It's only half a second now.
Yes, it was about a second at the end of the first lap. It has come down, and it really is pretty much 6 cars in a train. There's a gap back then to Ben Huntley in 7th place. Katie Cole's picked up a 10-second penalty. I imagine that will be for being out of position at the start of the race. Rob Wellham now up to 9th as well, and I imagine that he will be catching the lead group, but may struggle to get right on terms with it.
Yeah, it looks like it actually is a proper 6-car train here. So 5.5-car train, because Westworth is trying to hang on. Times in the low 45s. 45.17 appears to be the best so far. So Matthew Higginson in that bright green disc lock car. And you can see him in the back of the field there, back of the shot there, chasing down Craig Pollard, the Formula V champion.
Yeah, he was champion last year, champion in 2018 as well, Craig Pollard. And switching to a new challenge for this season. Speaking to him and his dad earlier on. They did, I think, contemplate possibly getting a Delara to win a Monoposto, but decided that this was the way to go. Probably a much more competitive way to go, single-seater racing, I would say. The top 6 still there. And in 7th place, Huntley, he is about 3 seconds behind the top 6 as things stand. Wellham's now got ahead of Cole on the road as well.
Yeah, Wellham up into 8th place. They were hoping they could get up into the top 6, and that may still be feasible, but it looks like it's a bit of a tall order at the moment, Ian, doesn't it? Such is the pace of this lead convoy. And then look up the inside, and Gadd had a quick look there at Dan Gore. Couldn't make it through, but now he's tucked into the slipstream of Dan Gore's Mattel Racing run car. It comes through. Up on the outside goes Gadd. Can he make it around the outside into paddock? And he does. He darts through. Absolutely superb. And Dan Gore has to capitulate there. He's lost momentum coming out. He's under attack now from Pollard, who comes up the outside. but he manages to get the car back into the apex at Druids. He's got Higginson chasing him down as well, and Aldridge behind him.
Yeah, really nice move that from Gadd to get into, excuse me, the lead of the race from Dan Gore there. We'll see if Gore has a response. He's 6 or 7 car lengths back at the moment as they head through McLaren and up towards Clearways. And still this group of 6, Gadd, Gore now, Pollard, Higginson, Aldridge and Westworth leading the way. There they go, flashing past the pit wall to complete another lap. And the top 6 separated by only 2.37 seconds. And no improvement on the best lap of the race. That's still 45. Oh no, we've had Rob Wellham now done a 45.11. So that's now the best lap of the race. 1400ths outside the lap record. There's the battle going on between Higginson and Aldridge for fourth position, I beg your pardon. It's still Higginson ahead despite Aldridge's best efforts.
Yeah, Gadd looks really strong at this phase of the race, doesn't he, Ian? He's half a second up at the end of 7 laps. And Gore seems to have no answer, although he dropped Pollard to a degree. As Pollard, Higginson and Aldridge running 3, 4 and 5 there. With Westworth behind into the 44s.
Lap record has gone.
It's gone.
Yeah, 44.87 for Tom Gadd now. So new lap record. We thought it might go at some point this weekend. It stood for 9 years. James McLaughlin back in June 2014 set the record. Tom Gadd has now got it. Dan Gore also just a couple of hundredths outside the old mark with that 44.94.
Yes, 44.37 he did for pole yesterday, Ian.
Yeah.
When conditions were absolutely au point for him.
That's right, and that's going to be about 97 miles an hour average speed around Brands Hatch as well.
Very physical, as the drivers were saying.
Yeah. And he can't repeat it on the next lap, but it's a 45.14 that time through. Looks like Tom Westworth in 6th place has been dropped by the lead group a little bit now. He's 1.2 seconds behind Murphy Aldridge. Westworth there is 3.6 seconds ahead of Huntley, who's now only 1 second ahead of Rob Wellham, who's continuing his progress. We did get a view of Wellham on the screen a few moments ago. We'll see if we can pick him up again, because I think that we will have a battle for 7th.
I sense Gore might be a little closer this time.
Yeah, it was 0.65 seconds the previous lap. It might be a tenth or so less than that this time. Let's have a look as they cross the beam. 0.53, so yes, just about a tenth less than that. Gore's done another lap in the 44s, therefore 44.97 for him. We've got 6 minutes of the race, 7 minutes of the race left to go. Probably going to get 20 laps out of it if they do get full 15 minutes in. There we can see Rob Wellham now on screen in the number 1 car. After that work done overnight to get the car ready after the bent valve he had yesterday, and he is now with Ben Huntley. Number 96, Ben, less experienced in single-seater racing.
Cole in the pits.
She is indeed. So that's from, I think, about 9th position she was. But Huntley, ex-compact cup racer. Wellham has only ever raced in cars in F1000. He is a few tenths quicker based on their best lap times in the race. 45.11 for Wellham, 45.53 for Huntley.
Real even Steven stuff out front. There's still that 0.5, 0.6 between the leaders. And you can see Murphy Aldridge there trying to get hooked into Higginson. Pollard still holding sway ahead of them in the ex-Ben Powney car, number 92.
Yep, and looking for his second podium of the season, second podium of the weekend as well. He was very pleased to be in this position already in this car, having switched from Formula V. Looks like Kales Cole is heading back out into the race again.
And that's closer out front. That's for sure, that's closer. 44.89, an improvement for Gore on his previous best.
Wellham's now got ahead of Huntley and up into 7th position as well. And so he will try to make up about 4 seconds to catch Tom Westworth. But that's going to be a tall order in the remaining 5.5 minutes. Change for 3rd,
yeah,
because Higginson's
come
gone
up
through. And that must have happened probably up at Druids. Because certainly ahead by the time they got to Graham Hill Bend was Matthew Higginson, ahead of Craig Pollard now. Higginson was also on the podium yesterday, as the leaders are in amongst the traffic now, lapping the number 95 car of David Tagg.
Yeah, much closer. First to second, it's down to 0.37, and it's another 44 for both leaders, in fact.
Here's Higginson, he's lapping Tagg now. Murphy Aldridge following him through. So Pollard has dropped back to 5th place now. So I wonder if he's got a little problem with the car, because he has lost a couple of positions in the last lap, really. Keep an eye on that. He's dropping away from Aldridge as well. So possibly all not well with the Jedi and the Suzuki engine that powers it. So leader Tom Gadd is about to come through to complete lap 14, so probably 6 more laps to go in this race. There you can see Pollard's car on screen, and what lap times he doing that time? A high 45. He's been lapping in the low 45s, so he's lost about 0.6 to Aldridge and Higginson that time.
And they're quite critical to set up. You do find that they do go away a little bit, or maybe come to you during the race, depending on your suspension setup and how they use those tyres.
Pollard, an accountant by qualification, a company director from Suffolk. Dad and himself running the car. He had Graham Gant with him yesterday as well. There's Gore then in 2nd place. 0.55 seconds was the gap on the previous lap. I think it's roughly the same this time around. It is 0.48. It's come down a little bit actually. Another lap in the 44s for Dan Gore, 44.97. So he's lapping consistently at that kind of time, but it's still Gadd with the record. Oh no, it's not, because Higginson's just done 44.67. He has gone faster. We've now got 4 drivers in the 44s, Gadd, Gore, Higginson and Aldridge, but Higginson with a 44.67, the lap record by 0.2.
Oof. That's getting down towards that territory where Dan Gore was in qualifying yesterday. Bear in mind he did a 44.37, 98.01 miles an hour in quali. He's not made any ground this time, but Higginson, I think, is easing a little bit towards Dan Gore.
He was 0.3 faster on the previous lap. This lap he is 0.2 faster, so the gap between them is 1.1 seconds now, 2nd to 3rd.
With what, 3 or so minutes to go?
Yeah, it'll be 4 laps, including the one they're on, yeah. Higginson, there you can see on screen now, he is still pushing very hard as they head, well, he heads down the hill towards Hill Bend.
Gore's made a better run of this time, and he's a little bit closer. They've got the Icelandic driver Gunnlaugur Jónasson up ahead of them in the X-Mat Booth car, and I reckon that's down to about 0.4 again between the leaders here.
Yeah,
where are they going to catch the Icelandic?
Yeah, that could be very important, couldn't it? Over the line that time, the gap is 0.39, very close to what Marcus thought it might be. And they are going to catch the Icelandic driver at Druids, I think, by the looks of it.
He stays wide. Yeah, nice job.
Yeah, he does. So Gadd and Gore both get through unimpeded.
Much closer. We were talking yesterday about the previous Icelandic racer over here, Sverrir Thorodsson, who won a couple of Formula 3 races in the 60s. And I don't think Formula 3 is on the agenda for anyone these days unless they've got massively deep pockets.
No, so it is a little bit closer again between Gadd and Gore. We'll see if Gore's got anything up his sleeve. It's only going to have 2 more laps to try and make a move. Gap is exactly the same as it was before. They both did 44.94s that time through. Still Higginson with a record 44.67.
He'll be pleased with that.
He will, yeah. He'd be even more pleased if he won the race, I suspect, but he's on the podium as things stand. What of Craig Pollard? He has continued to fade away in 5th place, but he's still about 2.5 seconds clear of Tom Westworth. But he's been left standing now by Murphy Aldridge in 4th.
Rob Wellham still 3/10 away from 6th place. Tom Westworth.
Also underneath the lap record, the old lap record, Rob Wellham, 44.78. 2nd fastest of the laps we've had, I think, today. So good effort. Clearly the engine in good fettle.
0.53 again, 1st to 2nd, and they're going up to the hairpin, the leaders.
For the last time now.
Yep, here they are. Tom Gadd, the Lincolnshire driver, out front.
Yeah, he was low-cost champion 4 years ago.
And that was a very, very good exit of Graham Hill Bend for Dan Gore in second place. That's put him right in the slipstream of the leader.
Yeah, he's within, what, 3 car lengths as they head through clearways. There is the possibility of an attack.
Yeah, here he comes.
Not sure which way he's going to go. Up against the white line on the right-hand side of the circuit. Gore dives out of the slipstream, but not quite close enough to be able to do anything. 0.05 seconds in the end between Gadd and Gore. Gadd hanging on, although Gore did a 44.82 on the final lap. Third to Higginson, fourth to Aldridge, fifth to Pollard, sixth to Wellham, seventh to Westworth, eighth Ben Huntley, ninth over the line I think will be Adam Walker. He's yet to come through. And then I think 10th is going to be Chaz Hyton.
Well, another cracking race then for the Swallow Hill Homes F1000 Championship contenders. And it's going to go all the way to the wire again, isn't it?
I think so. Although Tom Gadd there, led by 5 points coming into this round, is going to extend his lead.
Here.
Yeah, David Tagg has just crept over the line there, hasn't he? Fortuitous that whatever's gone wrong has gone wrong right at the end of the race. Kaylee Cole, of course, had a pit stop, so she's going to be a lap down anyway in 16th place. But yeah, Tom Gadd will therefore extend his lead by another few points over Dan Gore. So the top 3 in the race, the same as the top 3 in the championship coming into this morning's race. Gadd, Gore and Higginson. And actually 4th and 5th, Aldridge and Pollard also 4th and 5th in the championship.
And Gunnlaugur Jónasson, the Icelandic driver, number 7, did a 46.81, which is a second quicker than he went in qualifying yesterday.
So he has learnt as the weekend has gone on, which is absolutely fantastic. So let's give you the results of that first race of the day, the third and final race of the weekend for the Swallow Hill Homes F1000 Championship. Tom Gadd, number 12, the race winner. Once again, the second time this weekend from, in second place, number 80, Dan Gore, who won the first of the races yesterday. He was 0.05 seconds behind. Third to number 83, Matthew Higginson. Fourth was 26, Murphy Aldridge. In fifth place, number 92, Craig Pollard. Sixth went the way of number 1, that was Rob Wellham. And seventh, number 3, Tom Westworth. 8th, 96, Ben Huntley. 9th, 14, Adam Walker, and Chaz Hyton, number 17, landed out the top 10, ahead of David Williams, Sebastian Malcolm, William St James, and Gunnlaugur Jónasson. And just a couple of other competitors started the race. David Tagg crept over the line, and Kaylee Cole finished a lap down and also had a 10-second penalty for an out-of-position start. So that is the end of the F1000 action for this weekend. Not the end of the single-seater racing, though, because we'll have Formula V having their second race of the weekend coming up for you in a few races' time, actually, just before the lunch break. 2 races before then, we've got the K-Tech Racing Clio Sport Championship. Cars already heading out onto the circuit for that, and the Race Part 750 Formula Championship coming up as well. So we've got the cars there forming up on the grid for the next race. I'll say the K-Tech Racing Clio Sport Championship race. They had a race yesterday in the second part of their double header this morning. We'll bring you details of the grid for that in just a moment. Still seeing if we can hear from our team in the pit lane, but failing that, we will bring you the details of the Clio race very shortly. So, a reminder, you can download the digital race programme from the 750 Motor Club website, 750mc.co.uk. There's a banner there. Click on the link to the digital race programme. There's also access to the live timing there as well, should you want to avail yourself of that particular facility to see what's going on live. So let's head down to the pit lane now. Josh Barrett's going to be down there for us today.
So we're down here with a delighted race winner, Tom Gadd. Tom, yesterday it was hard to overtake. You didn't make the best start, but you managed to do that overtake, importantly.
Yeah, I knew I was going to struggle with starting on pole here. It's not an easy place to start. Everyone on the downhill gets a slight advantage, but I managed to at least get away from the line, and Dan got me on the start. I managed to get back in front of Craig relatively early, and again, it was just a case of got to make your moves early around here, because once everyone's tyres heat up, it all stays the same, and then that's why I sort of had to go around the outside of paddock round Dan, because I knew if I didn't do it there, there's a probably strong chance we'd just end up in a train like we did in the first race yesterday.
Well done, championship leader as well, so well done to Tom Gadd.